thousands of victims of more than approximately $1 billion through fictitious businesses and other online schemes.
What we understand is that Interpol has already issued a red notice for criminal suspect Guo Wengui.
Guo Wengui skyrocketed into the American spotlight like a dramatic reality show contestant, crafting a media empire and cozying up to political big shots. His bromance with Steve Bannon was like a match made in conspiracy theorist heaven. They teamed up to shake their fists at Beijing. Guo Media slapped Bannon's name on the payroll, and the duo cranked out G News and GTV Media Group, which became a buffet of anti-Chinese rhetoric and wild unconfirmed claims. This dynamic duo collected a fan base so loyal they practically followed them into a burning building, all while they played the role of fearless truth teller dropping explosive allegations against the Chinese government. But behind this self-styled Cape Crusader, critics saw a guy who was less Batman and more Joker, possibly using the chaos to settle his own scores and push his personal agenda. Guo turned New York Harbor into the set of an offbeat political blockbuster, unveiling the new federal state of China alongside Steve Bannon on June 4th, 2020. Perched on his yacht, the pair live-streamed their self-proclaimed shadow government's mission to stick it to Beijing, essentially declaring, "Move over marks, make way for Guo." The event had all the subtlety of a fireworks display at a mime convention. Planes trailered banners overhead, and Guo delivered his speech with the gusto of a guy trying to sell timeshares on the moon. For the grand finale, he signed the manifesto in his own blood. Because apparently, nothing says serious rebellion like channeling Jeffrey Dahmer. To his devoted followers, Guo wasn't just a guy with a big boat and an even bigger ego. He was the George Washington of New China. But instead of wooden teeth and practical wisdom, Guo doled out grandiose promises and revolutionary poetry. He didn't offer concrete plans, just fiery speeches that turned simmering discontent into a blazing bonfire of, "Yeah, let's do it!" In 2020, Guo rolled out GTV Media Group like it was the Avengers of media empires, proclaiming it would expose and demolish the Chinese Communist Party's monopoly on information. Armed with a slick, confidential information memorandum that practically sparkled with promises of fortune, he pitched GTV shares to his loyal social media followers, most of whom were anti-CCP diehards, primed to trust him blindly. By the time he'd finished his digital sales pitch, over 5,000 investors coughed up nearly $500 million, thinking they were funding a media Batman taking down Gotham's villains. Turns out, they were more like extras in a Khan movie. Guo and his sidekick quietly slid $100 million into a high-stakes hedge fund. All the while, investors blissfully believed they were striking a blow against authoritarianism. Instead, their money was busy financing Guo's champagne, caviar, cars, mansions, and yachts. Guo wielded his talent for fundraising like a magician's wand, abracadabraing his followers' savings straight into his extravagant pockets. His Himalaya Farm Alliance and G-Club's programs became colossal cash vacuums, sucking up nearly $500 million and stuffing the funds into his own luxurious piggy bank instead of GTV's operations. Not one to miss a trend, Guo drove headfirst into the world of cryptocurrency, whipping up enough hype around Himalaya coin to even make Dogecoin blush. He even spun wild yarns about Ferrari purchases, because nothing screams like, "Trust me with your money," like an Italian sports car, to milk another $250 million from his audience, all while playing the anti-CCP hero in the fictional blockbuster he was directing. As Guo's media empire grew and fundraising soared, authorities scrutinized his activities. In September 2022, federal agents seized $335 million across Guo and his partner Zhe's accounts, exposing their alleged fraud. Zhe attempted to sneak away with nearly $50 million, but was thwarted. By March 2023, authorities had seized over $600 million in ill-gotten gains. Prosecutors then indicted Guo and Zhe on charges of masterminding a billion-dollar fraudulent empire, including securities fraud, wire fraud, money laundering, and racketeering conspiracy. Despite Guo's image as a crusading dissident, the seized millions and looming charges threatened to collapse his house of cards. His wealth and media prominence now served as evidence against him, as the long arm of justice caught up to his empire, built on anti-CCP rhetoric and fraud. While parading around as champion against the Chinese Communist Party, Guo turned out to be less Robin Hood and more like a collection of Robin Hoods. You know, the ones who take from the rich and give to themselves. Prosecutors unraveled his theatrical performance, showcasing how he rerouted supporters' hard-earned cash to fund his real passion, living like a Bond villain. We're talking about a $50 million New Jersey mansion, so big it probably has its own zip code, and a penthouse that screams evil lair chic. Toss in a $4 million Bugatti, a $37 million super yacht, because you know, overthrowing regimes is hard work, and you need those bubble baths on the open sea. Guo's lifestyle choices left his followers less inspired by his revolution, and more in need of a fraud hotline. Dissident by day, diva by spending spree. Didn't land as the inspirational tagline he probably hoped for. As Guo's notoriety surged, so did a chaotic tangle of enemies and lawsuits that could rival a season of a courtroom drama. In 2020, dissident Tang Bao spilled the tea on Guo's apparent pastime of running harassment campaigns against other dissidents like it was his own reality show. Guo's wild accusations whipped his followers into such a frenzy, they were throwing threats around like confetti at a questionable parade. It left many wondering if his agenda came with a secret punchline. The lawsuits came faster than a bad date on a dating app. Pacific Alliance Asia Opportunity Fund knocked on his door, asking for a $30 million loan that ballooned into $88 million because apparently, even debt takes steroids in Guo's world. Fan Bingbing filed a suit when Guo's imagination reportedly ran wilder than a tabloid headline. H&A Group also joined the lineup, accusing him of defamation, while Hong Kong authorities in 2019 thought, let's freeze his family bank accounts for a money laundering investigation. It'll be fun. Oh, and to keep the drama spicy, a US lawsuit slapped him with the title of Chinese spy, though Guo wasn't having it and came back swinging like it was an action movie climax. His media ventures, meanwhile, earned the kind of US scrutiny most people reserve for their annoying neighbor's backyard antics. With shady fundraising practices under the microscope, Guo ultimately settled with the SEC in 2021 to the tune of $480 million. That's enough to buy a comedian's dream yacht fleet. But sadly for Guo, not enough to buy back his credibility. While he kept shouting, "I'm a victim of the CCP," the global legal mess he left in his wake told a story more convoluted than a soap opera plot twist, complete with an inadvertent coalition of adversaries who probably couldn't agree on anything except their shared disbelief of Guo's antics. A con man in a three-piece suit, Guo turned his media empire and investment schemes into a masterclass of financial theater. In 2020, he pulled off a $452 million unregistered stock offering for GTV Media Group, only to funnel $100 million straight into a hedge fund with more mood swings than a hormonal teenager. Himalaya Farm Alliance raked in over $150 million from investors by selling them promises more inflated than a used car salesman's slogan. And let's not forget G-Clubs, the so-called exclusive membership platform, where members got the privilege of paying $250 million for absolutely nothing, except maybe a front row seat to their own disappointment. By 2022, federal authorities were playing Robin Hood, seizing over $300 million from Himalaya exchange accounts and lifting the curtain on how Guo's charisma-fueled Ponzi-Palooza bankrolled his extravagant taste while leaving investors with nothing but shattered dreams and maxed-out credit cards.
A Chinese dissident, known for his criticism of the government, made a daring escape from a high-security prison.
Spies turning on and exposing other spies. I'm going to tell you the story about a Chinese spy put into exile to the UK, to the US, where he sought political asylum. He penetrated the inner circles of the president's men, and now he's spending decades in prison for scamming people out of $1 billion.